everybody. Hi, thank you so very much for making this, especially at 4 o'clock, like on a Tuesday. I sincerely appreciate it. We've got a pile of stuff. So what I thought was if we could kind of be real professional and go through the business and then kind of open it up for our conversation. Does that work for you guys? All right, so I'm going to make it real official. Call to order at 4:08. Roll call attending. If you would be kind enough to state your first name. Netu, you get to start because you were here first.
Neetu Sehgal.
Kathleen Kuklevich.
Alexandra Mills.
Maureen Bensley.
And Isabel Murphy. And absent is Emily. Excellent. Okay. First order of business is to review and approve minutes. We got dinged. I got dinged because we've been bad about it, but pulled all the notes together. And first one I'd like to look at would be the notes from our July 18th or excuse me, 19th meeting. Did everybody get them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. Did you guys by chance get a chance to look them over?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Any edits, modifications you would like to make to them?
No.
All right. Then if somebody would be kind enough to make a motion to approve the minutes from July 18th.
I move to approve the minutes from July 18th.
Thank you, Maureen. And second,
Second.
thank you, Alexandra. And in favor, Isabel.
Aye.
Maureen, thank you. Alexandra, I think we're supposed to say our names at least.
Oh, sorry, Maureen.
Thank you. Kathleen,
Kathleen.
Netu?
Yes.
Neetu.
Hi.
Boom, opposed. Approved, 5-0. Excellent. Okay, next, to review and approve the minutes from September 30th. You guys had an opportunity to look those over?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. What modifications or edits would you like to have made?
None.
Okay, so would somebody like to put in a motion to approve the minutes?
I
Motion.
move to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Maureen. Would someone second? Alex? Thank Netu, thank you. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Kathleen.
All right. Opposed? Phew. No one. Okay, so another 5. We're ready. Thank you. Last, to approve and review the minutes from November 22nd of 2021. Modifications or edits to the minutes? Any? Okay. Hi there.
What a cutie.
Hello, gorgeous. Hi. If that's the case, would anybody be willing to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Kathleen. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Thanks, Alex. All right. And those in favor?
Maureen.
Great.
Kathleen.
Excellent. That was easy. Okay. So next, status to date. So the funds that we have available as of January 2022, in the S Fund, which is the Town Scholarship Fund, we have $1,530. In the Carol Harris Fund, we have $65.59. All of those have come in. The 1530 has just been kind of random donations that have come in. And one of the things we can talk about in terms of how we want to go forward from there. Follow up on the action items that we had. And I have a couple of things here. We had talked about changes to the website. we were able to get the information about the capital group removed. One of the things we'd like to talk about going further also is what we want to do. Fundraising, anybody have anything that they want to bring up in terms of things that they've looked at or thought about in terms of current fundraising?
I had thought about, but did not act on, asking to go down to Ola, to some of the restaurants and ask if they would do percentage of the proceeds one night. I did not follow up on that. It's been a little busy.
Okay,
So
I still think that's an excellent idea that we should talk about. In fact, why don't we keep that? We've got it under fundraising activities. Would you bring that up and we can kind of explore that one further when we get there? I love that idea because I think that's a good idea. Excellent. What else?
Another idea, I don't know if any other organization does this, but I know for like, for graduation, things like that at some schools, there are organizations that will help supply like flowers, right? And then you can buy the flowers for your child from that organization and therefore the proceeds go. I don't know if Algonquin currently does that, but this is more of a thinking forward to May timeframe when graduation happens, if that's something that an existing group does. I don't recall because I know the last graduation was not a normal one, but that was one thing I was thinking.
Can we further expand on that idea also?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Flowers, graduation.
I think it's probably too early for prom because prom is right around the corner, right?
Well, let me tell you where I'm going with that. And you know what? I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead, but I definitely think we need to take that one to the next level.
Okay.
So we had also talked about reaching out to past participants, recipients of the scholarships. And I reached out to one of the past chairs. I haven't gotten the list yet, but I'm putting that on my follow-on to do also. And I'll bring that up also when we start talking about other fundraising. Okay.
And again, I got halfway through my task, but I was able to get the names of two of the teachers at Algonquin who do graphic design. One of them does I'm looking at my notes.
Yeah.
One of them is the head of graphic design, and the other was she's in charge of the business program. I think we talked about maybe having, was it like someone to come up with a logo or some, I believe it was something like that. So it was a way of trying to get the students involved. I think it was for awareness of the scholarship. I know that we had talked about that, but I did get the name of the two teachers for that. I need to reach out to them. When I have when we come up with exactly what we want them to do or the task of one of the students, I have their names.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we follow up on that one like right now and kind of vote on whether we want to go forward with it. So if I remember it correctly, what we had talked about was the idea that we would run sort of come on, Isabel, it's a word, a contest to ask students to just submit ideas, and then their art is what we would use as the logo for the scholarship committee. Was that right?
I
Is that
think
the way
so.
Okay. And then it would be on, the applications, it would be on our signs, and it would also be on the certificates that we give the recipients.
And Isabel, we talked about using it too in any social media sort of
Thank you.
marketing or anything that we'd be doing to sort of, some brand association.
Yeah. Alexandra, would you reach out to those two people and present that idea and see what they need from us?
Okay. So we just kind of want to create a brand, right? Or a logo.
I think so. Kathleen,
Okay.
What else should we add into that?
Yeah, I think that sounds right. It was about just a logo.
And then maybe had we talked about doing a Facebook page or something like that, or an Instagram page? I don't remember.
I
Yeah.
think what we had said was that there wasn't necessarily enough content to warrant
Oh,
its
yeah.
sort of its own Facebook presence, but that could be So if we were
Contact.
using Southborough Share and
blog.
Care or My Southborough or that sort of thing, that it
Yeah.
would be sort of used in that capacity, if memory serves, which,
Yep.
you know,
Yours
questionable.
is better than mine. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'd like to revisit that one for
Okay.
a couple of different reasons in terms of a couple of different things that are going on. So let me kind of tell you where I am and why I think we should consider that. We have, and it makes kind of sense, we have the new scholarship is available. It's coming through. So it's, if we vote on it and say yes, and then we meet with the select board tonight at 6:30 to present it to them. So the status, and I'm going to be repeating myself. So tell me to kind of, shut up if you've already heard this already. A member of the community has come forward and wanted to seed fund a scholarship for Linda Hubley. They had worked with her in the past and thought that based on everything that she's done for the community, that it would be a wonderful thing to do. We reached out to the family. They said that they were interested, but wanted to wait until the beginning of the year to kind of go forward. Met with them. They're absolutely in favor of it, have met with a couple of other people in town. They think it's a great idea. We're ready to hopefully, vote on it and go forward with it. The specifications are very, very minor. It would be that it would follow the same expectations as the town scholarship. And then the additional consideration would be that it be given to somebody who is in the spirit of Linda, in that they're involved in community activism, volunteerism, environmental protection, and or going to study something in the same vein. The proposal has been that we take the $500 that was presented as kind of the seed money and present that as sort of a matching fund, so that the first $500 that comes in, people say, know that their dollars are being matched dollar for dollar. We've been through with the town and Brian Ballantyne and Carla, who's the town accountant, what the process is for us to do that. We need to submit the minutes of our meetings and our vote, and then tell them kind of how we want it set up, and then get approval from the select board tonight to go forward. So I think the first thing that we have to do as a committee is vote as to whether we want to go forward. And then based on that, talk about some other ideas in terms of how we want to take it to the next level. What do you think?
Yep.
All right. So I guess the first question is, are we as a committee in favor of following through and establishing the Linda Hubley Memorial Scholarship? Does anybody have a motion to approve?
Approve.
Sorry, I wasn't looking.
Move to
Thank you.
approve.
Second,
Second.
Second.
thank you. Great. So all in favor?
Maureen?
Kathleen?
Wow, excellent. Great. Great. Okay. So now we've got that. One of the things that we are scheduled to do is to present to the select board and give them kind of an update on what's going on. We've got 5 minutes on their calendar tonight. What I'd like to do is propose the idea that we tell them kind of where we are in terms of fundraising, and then ask for their support in terms of other ways that they, as the select board, can help us. Specifically, also mention the Linda Hubley Scholarship. Lisa Bracchio was very close to Linda and has already said that this is something she would be very big in favor of in terms of helping. How do you think we should ask the select board for their assistance?
And I think one thing that from just the earlier discussions that we had a couple months ago were about getting, like, I looked up, and I think I heard you guys a couple months ago, contacted a number of businesses, right? I heard back from this many of them. The only one that I was having the ongoing discussions with, which was just messaged actually earlier today, was the John Daly one, which has gone nowhere so far. But it would be helpful to have people give us who they know have an in companies based in town and are invested. Because I think if you just blindly are contacting, like I've been doing, you don't really get a response unless there's some personal connection. And that would be helpful if like each of them could commit to tell us 2 people you know who you think we should reach out to. And we can go make the pitch. But I think that's one thing, because the more people we can get invested in this and have the right contacts would be critical.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure that as members of the board, but what we can say is, we want everything and anything that you can do as a select board to promote the town scholarships.
Yep.
What do you think you could do? And see
Okay.
kind of what they say to us. What do you think about that?
I think that works.
Okay. I know in talking to Lisa that things like putting up on the banner that the new scholarship, the Linda Hubley Scholarship, is something they would absolutely be willing to do. She also mentioned, and this is one of my asks, I want to see what you think of it. She also mentioned that they have a tweet, a town tweet. I didn't even know they had that. Vanessa sends that out. What do you think of the asking if they also put that out through the town tweet?
Yeah.
And also this might be slightly unrelated or
No, go
on the
for it.
margin, but one thing that we've kind of talked about is just making it easier for people to give us money. And I know we've been down a few roads that didn't go anywhere, but even when you go on our committee page on the town website, there's no donate now. There's no information about how you, even if I wanted to, how would I give you money? When you're paying your bill online, you get a pop-up, but that's about it. I just don't think people are being asked.
Maureen, thank you for saying that, because that's been one of the things that I found very frustrating. And I had this conversation with both Brian Ballantyne and Carla, who's the town accountant, about it. And what I was told is we can't do Venmo because it's a town account. There is it's called
Unipay.
Unipay.
Yeah.
Unipay. And they said that they can link us on to a Unipay. Is that like for a credit card?
You can do credit card, you can do by check. I've used it to pay town bills before. It's a little antiquated, I think. I mean, the Venmo would be great because it's like, hey, here, let me just scan the code and I'm done. That's unfortunate because I know that was something that I had looked into before, but I didn't know if we could do it. I just question how that other Southborough group is doing it then. Is it because they're SOS? Is that why?
I found out, yes, because SOS is not a town account.
Funded.
And what they can do, and this is something we can either discuss it now or put it for later, it's your call. We can look into getting a Friends of the Scholarship Committee account. And my understanding is that if you're a Friends, you could then go to like Main Street Bank and have an account that people could Venmo to. And then from there, you could give the money directly to the scholarship committee, to the town.
Who though holds that account? Like in whose name? Because it would be Friends of, but who would the signatories be?
See, that's my understanding, is that if you're a Friends of, and does anybody have any banking experience or contacts with anyone at a bank? Because I do not.
And my mom used to work at a bank, and so I'm just thinking of, we have a separate private family scholarship fund
Right.
for my father's scholarship. And my mom and us kids are signatories on that. So I understand how that works. What I would question here is, like, if a committee member could be, or 2 committee members could be signatories, I can understand how it would work, but I would think from a conflicts of interest perspective, that's not kosher. We can't.
Right.
So I don't know who you entrust to hold as signatories on that account. That's the funky part, like my lawyer brain can't get over, is it's friends of, it's somebody collecting money on behalf of, but what if they go and run off with the money?
Exactly.
Like, not to be pessimistic, but
No.
it's kind of my job.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of how the Friends of the Southborough Library works, is they're a separate organization. They're not the library trustees that are, you know,
Yeah,
elected.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would have to be another group, which, you know, we've had trouble getting folks on this committee. I'm not sure we have a second.
Well, I mean, if Unipay is an option, it's better than nothing. And then it's about advertising that out, because then at least if you have the brochure or whatever on the website and the blurbs, you can say, go to this link. And if people
Mhm.
want to give, they'll go through the effort, right? They'll go through the effort. It's certainly easier than putting a check in the mail, getting a stamp, walking like that. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm at my computer anyway. Let me just ding, 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 and they're paid.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm with you. What, you know, let's, I think we should vote on that.
Yeah.
How many believe, so let me position it correctly. Who would be in favor of getting Unipay added to our website and then also using that as another marketing tool? So for ongoing funds, letting people know about that. Anybody want to, I think I just proposed it. So I proposed it. Anybody want to second that?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's do a vote. Those in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Oh, okay. All right, I will take that action item and follow up with Carla, the town accountant, and Brian, and see how we can do it.
That's great.
So-
And I also wonder, just to Maureen's earlier point, until we can get that up and running, because sometimes the, you know, just logistics can get in the way, even just to have, I mean, people don't necessarily want to go drop a check in the mail, but even to have that information at a minimum on the website until we get the electronic
Mhm.
piece up and ready, just say, you know, mail a check to Southborough, you know, town hall, whatever, just to have something there, because, you know, even if it can't be, you know, a fancy donate now button quite yet, even if there's something, even if it's antiquated, just to, hopefully that would be fairly easy to do.
You know, you just brought up a really good point. Did you get an opportunity to look over the proposed information about the announcement for Linda's?
Mhm.
Okay. To Kathleen's point, what was written was donations can be made to town of Southborough. Should we change it to say by check for right now? Or am I getting too
I
nitpicky?
think it's probably fine how it is. If someone wants to walk in with a wad of cash, I'm sure they'll accept it.
All
You
right.
never know. But I think
Okay.
that's probably fine.
Okay, well, and that just reminded me, I apologize, I went off kilter. We were all in in agreement for the Linda Hubley Scholarship. So things that we need to do around that. We talked about discussing it with the select board tonight. Was proposing sending this information out to my Southborough. Who else should we advertise with?
So what about sending it as well to, oh my gosh, community advocate?
Okay. Do you agree? What do you think? Yep, okay. Is there still a Metro West News?
Metro West Daily News?
I mean, the worst is they don't pick it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I ask, is the intent to send this out, which I think looks great, or to send this out with together this is what the Southborough Scholarship Committee does? And if it's the latter, I'm happy to volunteer myself to do a write-up that then you guys can all review and put it together. And maybe that's something we can repurpose for, you know, whatever communications we're using. Because I think it segues to kind of give we can maybe later on add the blurb about the past recipients and what they're doing now and all that, but then it can become that marketing piece of it.
Yeah,
I
I think that's a great point, because the first paragraph says, this is in addition to the town scholarships and Carol Harris. So they're presuming the reader kind of already knows about us,
Yeah.
and that may not be a safe assumption.
That's a great, great point. Yeah, if you're willing to do that, I will send you all the texts that I have and the photo.
Yeah, if you send me that, and then the other, I mean, maybe Worcester's too far. Worcester Telegram and Gazette, I'm guessing is too far. They may not pick it up, but let me write community advocate, my Southborough.
I think you might have better luck with the Metro West Daily
Yeah.
News than
Yeah.
the Worcester Gazette.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, agreed.
all right. Would it be okay with you guys if I gave Beth Mello this information now? And proposed that it go on the town website? And then we did a double hit?
As part of sort of the existing, yeah, I think as long as there's something to sort of pair it with, I think to the earlier point about it going out into the world without,
Okay,
you know, some context is a good one. So I think if it's going, yeah, to people who sort of already have the info, then that's great. And I apologize, I actually have to jump off. Things are devolving a bit here. So I really apologize, but if there's anything I can do, feel free, Maureen can sign me up. I give
oh,
her-
good.
As my attorney, I give her permission.
You have just been- Thank you, you have just volunteered. Thank you, Kathleen. We will give you.
Perfect. All right, thanks.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Great, okay. So what's the next major bit of business that we're gonna give to Kathleen?
Can I actually backtrack with the question on the graphic design piece?
Yeah.
With that initiative to go to the schools, is there, as part of, because I'm thinking of it as like a contest, is there a prize for the winner, other than obviously the fact that they get something for their portfolio? Are we gonna do like a gift card or something to entice them more? I'm just thinking about teenagers and like, yeah, this is great for my portfolio, but what do I get? I could hear that question coming.
Yeah, so my first thought is, because we are a town committee and all of our money is supposed to go to the
Can't
scholarships.
do it, yeah,
Mm,
conflicts, yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone know a local business owner who we could maybe get to donate like free ice cream? I don't know, something to the winner?
Ooh,
Could we do
that's-
that? Would that be legally okay?
I'm thinking back to that very long training.
Right,
I think that if you were to get it and it was underneath the threshold, which I feel like I have to go back, but was it $50 or under?
think
I
so.
would say it would probably be okay. You know, and you could get like you'd win a gift card and maybe we put a little basket together. And I think if someone were to donate, you know, a Southborough sweatshirt, which I would sign up myself to donate or something, right? Like you could put that together and that would be a cute little prize.
Oh, I know a group that's selling Southborough t-shirts.
Yeah. Like do something like that, put together a little basket with the gift card under a nominal value. I think that that would probably be okay.
All right. Alexandra, when you speak to the teachers, could you also pass that by them? Say, do you think the students would do it for nothing, or should we give them a gift too?
Okay,
Thanks. Good idea.
I'm sorry. Another, I don't know if I'm backtracking here. Is is Beth? Have we approached Beth, or is this another thing? And I apologize if we've already said this, to have Beth do like an article. Did we already say that? Have Beth do like a little write-up on the scholarship?
Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is tonight, the ask of the select board would be that they put up the information about Linda and her scholarship and ask Beth to do the same. And then we'll follow up a couple of weeks later and ask her to put up the whole information that Netu is putting together so that it's a second hit.
Sounds good. Sorry if I missed that.
No, in fact, I think that makes, because it is going to take us probably a couple of weeks to get the Unipay up and running.
Yeah.
So I think that's why if we can, first, we got to let people know that it's coming, but then to be able to hit them again and say, now we have a way you can do it, with a credit card.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Isabel, I know you mentioned that you reached out to one of the past participants. Did I hear you say you don't have the contact details for the other ones yet? Because I'm just wondering if that's somewhere where I can help, where I can just reach out and talk to them and put together an article at the same time.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I can give you the names of the students from last year.
Okay,
Beyond that, I have to get that from one of the past co-chairs.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, send me the ones from last year. Happy to dust off my journalism skills.
Why, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be, hold on, let me make sure I'm writing it down in the right spot so I do not forget. All right.
Wow, you're a journalist and a lawyer.
I
We're not
studied journalism like from, what was it called? The Neri Knickerbocker News in second grade or second grade,
Wow.
all the way through, really through law school. I always wrote for something. I actually worked at CNN International for 5
wow.
months in London.
Oh,
And
that's
then I became a
fantastic.
lawyer, and I plan to quit at some point, maybe when I'm like 60 and go back to journalism.
Wow.
Maybe. I keep
I have-
saying it every year. But,
Totally. And I have to have this conversation with you offsides because it shouldn't be part of our meeting.
Yep.
But I got to get you together with my daughter because she was in journalism. She's now a lawyer. She wants to do employment law, the whole bit.
Oh, we should definitely talk. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'll bring it back. I'll bring
Yeah.
it back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, I
Okay.
digressed too.
No, it was great.
Very
So,
impressed with your resume.
so our ask of the select board is the approval of the Linda Hubley Scholarship, because we voted on it, that they put it up on the website on the banner, that Vanessa tweet out, that it go out on the town-wide email. Also, that in a couple of weeks, when we have the whole article, that they publicize that also. They ask us who else we should reach out to. Any
Sorry,
other ask of them?
Well, I guess this might not be of them, but that we would also maybe reach out to Algonquin because they put out that superintendent's update, I think once a week. And they
Ooh.
include links to other materials or attached PDF sometimes. So I think, the more we can get the kids kind of aware of this as well.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay. Yes. Would you be up for reaching?
Sure.
That would be great. And would you like
And if
me?
not, I'll make Kathleen do it.
Okay. There we go. All right.
I'm just kidding.
All right. So the information that I sent you that that we have is as the announcement. Would that be okay? Would you like me to resend it with the photograph?
I think it's okay.
Okay. Great. Okay, Algonquin for the superintendent. Perfect. Okay, where else are we? Sponsors. Okay. One of the other things I'd like to propose that we relook at is the idea of a Facebook page for a couple of reasons. In meeting with a couple of people about the Linda Hubley Scholarship, there are members of SOF, like Southborough Open Land Foundation, Open Space Commission, the Conservation Commission, Trails Committee, that would like to also let their members know about the scholarship because she was involved in all of those things. And one of the things that they brought up is, since they have Facebook pages, if they could just put a link to ours.
Mhm.
So if we put something about her, they'd be able to like it and increase information. One of the other things that was brought up was that it would give us an opportunity, like Netu, if you're able to do like quick interviews, say of the 5 people who got them last year, even though it might appear to be older information, it would give us a little bit more content that we could put on. The other thing that was brought up was if we wind up doing things like house parties, and a house party, let me back up. One of the recommendations was made is, so even though we can't do Venmo, maybe we could do something like trying to get, maybe our goal being 20 house parties with the idea that our goal is 200 a party. So for example, my birthday's next month, or this month. Instead of asking all of my friends to show up for cake and they all bring nice bottles of wine, say, I'll provide the wine, just give me $10 and put it in a jar in the room, in the front hall, and then take that money and donate it. And then what we could do is say, so take a picture of your house party and then put that up on our Facebook page. And the person who recommended it to me is a little bit of a competitive person. And what she said was, what one person's going to see this picture of these people, they're going to then say, let's do a house party. An idea. What do you think?
I'm for the Facebook page. I think that, like, I know we had concerns about keeping content fresh, keeping it updated, but I think at least then for those folks that are going to look for one and not find one, right? There will be people that'll say, oh, let me just go and like see what's up there. Or it's quick for that link to, right? Like link to in the article, see our Facebook page. Here's also the Unipay, quick and easy. Even if we can or cannot keep the content fresh, at least it'll exist there. Right. I mean, and I think we should keep the content fresh. I think those are great ideas. I've never heard of this house party concept though. That was new to me. So sounds fun.
Excellent. Maureen, what are you thinking?
Sorry, I put myself on mute because I was coughing, but yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea. And I just, is there any restriction on what we can put on the Facebook page or how it has to look or any of that?
None of that. The one request that they have is because we are a town committee, Brian Ballantyne has to have the login information.
So he would be like the admin for the page?
Yeah, so he says he doesn't even have to be, excuse me, it's not Brian, excuse me, it's Jason, who is the IT person for the town. So
Okay.
that he, as one of the admins, can go in and scrub anything that's inappropriate and also download it and save it for
For
purposes.
records
Yeah.
purpose.
You know, as you say that, that's a great point, because I'm also thinking we could even do things like if somebody sets up a lemonade stand and, you know, earns $1.50.
Yeah.
The other thing was, I know that there's a Girl Scout troop who's looking for something to do also. And again, we're not talking big bucks, but it might give us a little bit of exposure.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think we need that much content. I mean, there'll be, if we kind of add stuff, but it's a place for people to land. It's a place for people to get information. You know, I don't think if I'm looking to find out about the scholarship committee, I mean, as long as we do it like once a month or every couple months, just so there's the information there. And I think we're okay. I mean, I'm not going to miss, if I'm scrolling through Facebook, I don't think people are going to be looking for that, but it'll be nice to have somewhere for them to land and us to put information.
Okay, great. Okay. So who's got experience with Facebook and who's willing to create a Facebook page?
I'm willing to try.
Excellent. Okay. So you and Kathleen have that opportunity. And again, I think, so why don't we all vote on it, but then that's something we can talk about, because that's not really something outside of, you know, the spectrum. Once we voted to agree on it, we can help each other do it. Okay. So I propose that we put a Facebook page up. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, thank you. Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Boom. Okay. All right. Okay,
Yeah, one
yeah,
question, sorry, and I know this has been answered before. Is this scholarship for just Algonquin students, or I just can't remember, or all high school students in town?
no, great question. It is for any student who resides in Southborough. Historically, it has been given to those who've just graduated from high school. It says also, though, somebody who's in college can apply for it too, or excuse me, in secondary after high school. So it doesn't have to be, first semester, freshman year of college.
So question. I know, and I don't know if this came up on the meeting that I missed, that the Algonquin criteria or requirements for the scholarship have changed in terms of their application process.
Okay,
I know this because they sent related to our separate family thing, that if you are trying to include, I can get the name and follow up on this, but if you're trying to include or run a scholar, well, this grant actually has been given historically completely separate. It's not announced on like the senior night at Algonquin because it's for the any town resident, correct? Okay, so it's probably moot because what they are doing is that if you are giving any scholarship that is runs through and you want to award it that night,
Yep.
you have to now go through, use their standard application, standard questions, etc. Okay, so moot for this purpose.
that explains then why I got an email from the Algonquin person saying, we've got two options. Either you can continue to do it the way you're doing it now, where we'll send you your applications back and you decide, or we can evaluate them.
Yeah,
And we're like, thank you. We have no purpose in life if this isn't
yeah,
part of our process. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Ah, interesting. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, the other major thing, and I'm going to put it under any other matters properly brought because I forgot to put it on the agenda, is we need to review the application for 2022 and come to an agreement on what we want the application to say and the dates. So with that being said, let me confirm that you all received the draft in that multitude of emails that I sent out.
Yes.
Great. All right. And not to take over the show, but for brevity, how about if I lay out the changes that I made, and that way you can also point out anything else that we need to fix. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so change the date to represent March 8th because it needs to be after we've all looked at it and agreed. Changed the names. So we have removed Capital Group and we have put in Linda Hubley Memorial Scholarship. Have also put the criteria for the Linda Hubley Scholarship, that it uses the same criteria as the Southborough, and the applications should demonstrate a commitment to their community through volunteerism, environmental protection, and or ongoing education in these areas. Is that okay? Okay. I put the date of Tuesday, May 10th for all applications being in. That was based on our conversations around how we feel that they should have at least 2 months, but we also don't want it to be so late that they've already left for school.
Makes sense.
Wait,
Yeah.
yep. The other thing is I put in here that the awards would be presented at the select board meeting, the way we did it last year. Again, absolutely something for us to discuss. Years ago, my understanding is that the committee before COVID, they had an event at the community house for the presentation of the scholarships. Something else we can consider. my opinion is if we have the select board give them out, we get a little bit more publicity.
Yeah,
And we can
Yeah.
also, I mean, we could also have a room in the townhouse afterwards where we could take photographs and stuff. We didn't have it coordinated last year, but we might be able to do both. What do you think?
yeah, I like the select board idea for the reason you say that it's a little more visible and I think coming from the board also is, I don't know, it just feels a little more special. And if we can also kind of combine both and have a room to get together afterward and congratulate the kids, I think that's the best of both.
Yeah,
I agree.
excellent. Let's keep that then. Okay. I added Jim Haggerty's name to the application because he's the one who does all the work, but for some reason his name wasn't on there. It was just Mark Purple. Okay, well, his work, in terms of bringing him in the whole bit. Other changes. Oh, that please mail, email, or hand deliver the applications, and I put Jim Haggerty's email on there because he's the one who coordinates them and then presents them to be redacted. Let's see if there's any. Other than that, I did not change anything. So I'd like to get your opinion on if there's anything else we should consider or change in our criteria.
When you're talking about score reports, you're talking about the SAT, ACT score reports.
Yes, what page are you on?
It's on the first page. Please note that applications along with all transcript score reports and appraisals must be returned.
Yes, and then on page 2, when we have the checklist,
Yeah.
yes.
So like, were you about to say this a lot?
You can go ahead.
They've been optional.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, yeah.
That's a moot point.
It's becoming more moot in terms of whether or not those are something that should be considered with respect to even college admission.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I think they can still be considered. I mean, kids are still taking these tests, but whether that really is factoring or not factoring into the decision because of, I think there's so many reasons they've been moving away from it.
Yeah,
It
and
shouldn't be required, I don't think. Well,
Yeah.
because some kids may not even have it,
Yeah,
have a score.
yeah, that's true.
Like I have a high school senior and he didn't do it because he didn't need to.
Yeah. That's the only thing I would see on here, just having gone through it, that I would say maybe consider taking that out as a requirement. Or adding that it's optional.
Optional.
Yeah, change the must to a may.
Yeah,
yeah, I think yeah, I think we can't make the must a may because we need all the other stuff, the application, the appraisal, etc.
Oh, sorry, I meant just next to the checkbox where it says copy of SAT or ACT score report must be provided.
Yeah, must be provided by, so right there, just instead of maybe just put optional.
I'd recommend maybe you take it out of there altogether, and at the bottom, right, following both of the following, like at the end of the second paragraph, then you just do a applicants may provide SAT or ACT scores if desired, but basically highlighting that it's optional. Because I think if you put it right there, it's confusing because you have the must and then you have the may.
Absolutely. So just put note, applicants may provide ACT or SAT.
Well, maybe put no, SAT or ACT score reports are not required, but applicants may opt to provide. Something like that.
You know, that raises a different question for me. When we sit down together to evaluate the applications and we have our kind of metric, you know, that we're following, how will we account for the fact that kids either did or didn't do? Like, I feel like you almost end up holding it against them if they don't have it, or
Yeah,
overweighting it if they, you know?
maybe just take it out.
That's,
Maybe just take it out, because I mean, the whole idea behind, or one of the ideas behind why they're not being considered is because they're a number and there's other things in the background as to who traditionally does well on these tests. So maybe you take it out and you have enough to evaluate based off transcript, appraisals, application in and of itself, and aid.
I
And I'm
agree.
assuming none of our scholarships have it as a specific requirement. They just say academic achievement, or it's generic enough that,
Unless you could put at the end, like if there's anything else well, no, I guess that doesn't.
yeah, I think my understanding is they were intentional about not saying if you want to add other things,
Yeah.
because then people were sending like, final, et cetera.
Yeah,
So
I think, yeah, you have to just, I think you then have to take it away. Unless it just, I mean,
I'm, I'm with you. So let's look at it from both sides and vote. It was not a major part of our evaluation criteria. In fact, I'm looking for the diagram that we used. Okay, ACT and SAT was 5% of our consideration. We believe, as I understand it, that it's going away.
welcome home, Mark.
Yeah. What do you say we remove it?
I think,
I move to remove the SAT or ACT requirement from our
Yeah.
consideration.
Okay,
second.
Alexandra, did you second it?
Yep, second.
All in favor?
I,
Okay.
I'll take those 2 lines
That
out.
was a really good catch, not to. Me too.
Woo, thank
I wouldn't
you.
have thought of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Boom, that's gone.
you
So
know,
I have the template for our scoring. I can just remove that and change and update the columns.
Thanks, Maureen.
Sure.
We are accomplishing great things here. Okay. I will pull that out and send it out to you again. If you guys would be kind enough to just look at it with real critical eyes and see if there are any other typos.
do you have a Word version, Isabel? I'm just wondering for
Yes.
ease, is it, okay, that would be helpful. If there is anything that we don't have to write notes, we can just put bubbles on the side.
Okay. I'll send the Word version out.
Thank you.
And then what we're hoping is, let's get a date there so that we've got ourselves accountable. Today is the first week. We've dated it as the 8th. Could we get it? Would you be kind enough to get it back to me within the next 2-3 days?
Yes.
Okay. And then we have to agree on the schools that we're sending it to and who's going to work on coordinating that. Which isn't that big a deal, but it means somebody has to have a bit of a checklist.
Do we have an existing list? Was Renee doing it last year? Or,
Yeah, and it wound up, because it was late, it wound up going to, my understanding is Algonquin, St. Mark's, St. John's. I don't know where else.
But it is in my Southborough. So
Thank you.
if we have
Yeah.
like just one child at Belmont Hill, then they'll see it, but we don't have to send it.
Great point. And, oh, thank you. And it's also available at the townhouse.
Does it go to Assabet as well?
Oh, that's a good point.
I believe it does. That's a good point. Yep. So who would be willing to take that on to contact the guidance people? I got the name of the person at Algonquin. Algonquin Sabet, St. Mark's, St. John's. Again, it's at the townhouse.
I can work with Kathleen to do that. I
That
know
would be-
she has some insider info.
Okay. That would be great. Okay. So I will send it out to everybody within the hour. If you guys could get it back to me within a couple of days, I will send it to you guys with the name of the person at Algonquin. And then if you could just kind of let us know, you know, it's been sent out to these people and we're ready to go. Does that sound good? Was that clear? Because I heard myself and it didn't. All right. What else?
So I guess just because we're minding our P's and Q's procedurally, so
Thank
we've
you.
approved the
Thank
draft.
you, Maureen.
So any substantive changes, we would have to probably meet again and approve. So this is more formatting, typos, that kind of thing, right?
Yes, very good point. So in the minutes shall reflect that we made the change to remove the SAT and ACT. No other substantive changes at this point, just looking for grammatical errors. Okay. All right. Anything else at this point?
What about just generally, like we're talking about a lot of different initiatives for fundraising that are
Thank you.
in the next few months. And I'm just wondering about, like, as you think about the calendar, because I know when on one of the first calls I was on, you know, there were a lot of discussion about, oh, now we think, you know, we'd love to do this, but maybe we're a little too late, like the holiday card idea, or I don't know, I can't think of some other ones that were discussed, but there was a lot of great ideas. And I'm just wondering if for the purposes of discussions and meetings going forward, if it's helpful to do like a calendar of like things that we might want to do so we can plan ahead a bit. And, you know, even again, if they're not getting that big multi-year donor, but the smaller things that the money continues to trickle in and it helps with getting known. But there's just something I was thinking about like a calendar that these are events that we know we could, you know, like the restaurant thing or whatever, and kind of deciding a date and moving toward it.
I think that's a really good idea. And I think that that's something depending on, and you let me know how much time you guys have right now, whether we can take this another 10 minutes. You know, kind of what we want to do in terms of fundraising. And I apologize because I mentioned that we had talked about things like the restaurants and the flowers, and I said we'd get back to it.
Yeah, and I dropped the ball on talking to Ola. I think I
Well-
was going to talk to them and.
Okay,
That might be a really fun thing, like, you know, like again, where now you have the scholarship with Hubley, and then, you know, in this late spring, early summer, like we plan for that. And it's like, just kind of every few months, there's something. So that there's kind of a,
I think that's a great idea. I mean,
Fun.
I'd love the
Summer-
idea.
the summer might be tough, but like that one, I can't remember who had that idea about the holiday cards, right? That if, at least if it flows through here, there's a percentage coming back, or Heritage Day ideas last year, but I think we were like a week away from Heritage Day, but kind of thinking, or summer nights, like summer nights might be one to get a booth up and do something. Summer nights might be, you know, a good one to start with of, we know that's happening, we know the date, what could we do at summer nights?
Exactly. And town meeting is coming up in May. I think even if we just had just a flyer, I don't think, we didn't pick a date for when we would want to have our artwork back by, would we? Well, let me back it up. Could we have it back in time for the award of the scholarships this year?
So is that for me when I reach out to the Algonquin teachers?
Yeah,
I guess I'd have to ask, I could, I'll reach out them to the.
okay.
Ask them tomorrow. I guess it just depends on what they have in their planned curriculum and stuff, right? Unless,
Yeah, so ask them if we're being realistic about today's March 1st, would we be able to have it by, end of June? Selected, yeah.
yeah, because I don't know like how flexible they are in their curriculum and stuff, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's something where, we can also do some of this stuff by email because we're not making decisions. We're just updating each other on what's going on. And
I can look into summer nights in terms of
great,
dates, what options are, what we would have to do to get a table, and then start thinking about what we maybe, because I feel like once we get to that point, right, well, by then we'll probably have a logo, we'll have a website, we'll have Unisys, Unipay, and that would be a really great time to kind of, as the school year's kicking off, hey, don't forget about us. Look at what we do for, residents of the town.
I think that's a great idea. And I want to also go back to your idea about the flowers. I thought that was a great idea. And I'm thinking we should reach out to Gulbenkian.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Carolyn. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know her?
Yeah.
Would you consider just asking her if she would,
Yeah.
and just, in it, just say, $2 or $5 of every floral is going to the scholarship
Yeah.
committee.
I will
Yeah.
ask her. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So let me see, Alexandra, do you want to ask it Ola, or I'm going to be there again on Thursday. I spend too much time there.
Well, if they may know, they may know you better than I then.
A little embarrassing. I walk in and they present my order. They know exactly what I'm doing.
Well, so maybe you might.
I got it.
If you don't mind, I mean, I'm happy to do it, but I maybe like you got that personal connection that.
I'm afraid I do.
Seal the deal.
Okay.
I think you.
So I'm thinking the weather being what it is, this would probably, like, if we could do it in the next month or so, just have a night where, they say that, I don't know, 10% of their food that night goes to the scholarship committee, and then we just put it out there and
Yeah,
see
whatever
what
they're comfortable with. I mean, anything's better than nothing, right?
happens. Okay, I'll ask them.
The more the better.
Okay, I got that one. And great, Carolyn. Okay. What do you think of the idea of the house parties?
So people hosting like a cocktail party and asking people to donate.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On paper, I like it. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
just because we're a small group, how to get that going, but
Okay.
And I mean, people are still kind of conservative,
Yeah.
some people about COVID.
Yeah. I mean, it might be fun to see if that's a summer type thing, just with COVID, like with some, like I know my house, right? Like I still have someone who's unvaccinated, my youngest. That's where I'm like, I'm not hosting big groups of people or anything like that, but where we can be outdoors. But I think it's worth a try. It sounds fun. I would go to one. So
Maybe we'll bring it up at another time. Great. What else? What do you think? We ready? All right. Should we pick a date now, since we've got 4 out of 6 available?
Mhm.
Okay. So I think we can email each other on status of the stuff we've talked about. We also should pick a meeting. I'm thinking next stuff that we need to talk about is kind of a follow-up on the fundraising and then getting the application out. So would a month be okay?
Mhm.
All
I
right.
was thinking first week of April. That way we're not running into April vacation plans or anything.
Oh, good idea. Okay. I'm open that week. Somebody suggested a day that works for them.
Tuesdays or Thursdays are usually good for me.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yep. And what time works for you guys?
This time worked great for me, but that's me being selfish. I don't know if it worked for anyone else.
It's good for me also, but yeah.
It comes up, it's good for me.
Oh, sold. Okay. So let's propose Tuesday, April 5th at 4 PM.
Awesome.
Boom. Okay,
On my calendar.
great. Okay, so with that being said, would somebody be kind enough to float a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Maureen. Somebody want to second it?
Second.
X, thank you. All in favor? Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
Hopefully
You.
next time we'll be in person.
Fingers crossed.
And I'll bring the Margaret, yeah, okay.
Stop the recording now. Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.